बात करें सॉफ्टवेयर इंडस्ट्री इन पाकिस्तान पे, और आज हमारे साथ एक रशियन जेंटलमैन आइगोर बैक्टिक हैं जो कॉलवेयर कंपनी के बिजनेस डेवलपमेंट मैनेजर हैं, और उनके साथ पाकिस्तानी कंपनी जो कोलैबोरेट करी उनके साथ उनके सैयद हमजा मतीन साहब हैं. थैंक्स फॉर ब्रिंगिंग योर बिजनेस टू पाकिस्तान. वी विश यू वेरी गुड लक हियर, and with partners like Mr. Mateen, I'm sure you will do well. Igor, before we come to your thing, what I want to come out from this program is to see where we are standing in terms of overall software industry. What are the potentials here? How many jobs can be created with the efforts of collaboration like yours? With your permission, I would like to start with Mr. Mateen.
Absolutely.
Mr. Mateen, give us an overview of the software industry in Pakistan. Where we are standing, especially like cricket, we are very much keen to know where we stand in competition to India.
Yes.
We know that India has taken a big stride with in the last 20-30 years. We are probably no more close to them, but still we are a fighting nation, you know.
Yes,
in cricket, if we can fight in software as well.
Okay. That's great. You know, basically, if you look at the Indian model, they have been very successful last 15 years, and that is one of the remarkable.
What is the total export they're doing in terms of?
I think it's in 30 billion.
30
plus.
billion.
Excellent.
Which is more than our total export for the whole country.
Yes, definitely.
Just from IT.
Just from IT, and that had happened only in last 15 years.
15 years.
15
I thought
years.
it was longer.
No, it's actually started in last 15-20 years. And the reason for that, because at the time the PC revolution was going on, the internet was opening up, a lot of outsourcing was going in, and they were able to position themselves, and they invested rightly, in the right way. They market themselves rightly. They had a very good network of our expat community. Although we have left, left behind in that scenario, but technology is ever-changing thing. So although we are even fraction, maybe the figures are like 200 to 250 million US. And if you
our figure is 250 million US.
Yes.
At the moment.
Yes, but
compared
if you
to 30 billion of.
Yes, that 30 billion, they also include the remittance from the IT workforce which goes out.
I
so
see.
If you take that in account, so our industry over $2 billion, you can say that.
Right.
Yes, if you account for the services are included, because there's a certain criteria where you structure the industry, because there is no shipment, there is no cargo movement, there is very hard to
see anything. Just
yes,
through the internet it comes
internet
and
it goes
bits and bytes
bytes.
over the wires.
Yes. Definitely. So the only way we could compete and do something worthwhile, I think, is to bank on the next technology revolution.
I see. That's a very bright idea.
Yeah, and see where we can chip in, because technology can change anytime, and companies can absolutely.
What you're saying is that even if we were left behind in
Yes.
several stages of the technology,
Yes,
where India took the lead,
Yes.
but technology keeps on changing.
Yes.
Even if you become a big expert in one particular technology,
Yes.
if the next technology comes and you cannot catch up, then you're lost.
You're lost.
Exactly.
You
This
have
is the
to
beauty
be.
of this
You have to be proactive and see what's coming up. Maybe nanotechnology, biotechnology, something like mobile, applications. Anything can really change the whole scenario. Microsoft 20 years back was one of the inspiring growing company, but these days they're having a hard time competing with these Googles and Amazons of this world, and iPod and Apple, because of the technology change. So they have to cope up very quickly with those changes.
This is one industry where there's no scope for sleeping or company.
Yeah, you cannot. It's one of the fastest moving industry.
You cannot just rest anywhere.
You cannot
You
rest.
have to keep running to be in the race.
Definitely.
You are gone.
You have to be on your toes and look around all the way. So for Pakistan, I think one of the key areas was collaboration with international companies, and I think that is the area we should have been focusing for last decade now. So if we have done that, that would really help us, could have helped us bringing more jobs in Pakistan and providing.
That's where Mr. Igor Makhtin comes. Mr. Makhtin, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
To our country. As Mr. Mateen said, it is the collaboration which will bring in the business. The Indians also did not do it alone. I remember when I was in Emirates, one British colleague of ours left along with an Indian colleague, and they started a software company way back in 84, 85. I'm talking about a very long time. And what they were trying to do was they were the development guys. So they said, the thing which we are doing sitting in Abu Dhabi, we can do much cheaper in Bangalore. And then they created a company, and that company became very, very big success.
Absolutely.
So it's always two things joining. What's the background of your company and what you are doing at the moment? What software you have developed, which you are trying to market here?
The background of my company is somewhat complicated. It's a company that came to be because some like-minded people from the United Kingdom and from Russia got talking about the software industry, and it emerged from their conversation that there is a niche in the banking software market yet to be filled, a niche that required software products giving the users, especially the business users, a lot of empowerment so that a bank or another type of financial institution would not have to go back to the vendor and ask for modifications to the software where some change has occurred in the environment, be that legal environment, economic environment, or whatever. And that is exactly the kind of software they set out to develop. The British side,
a challenge for ex-Soviet Union countries,
among others,
especially
among
the legal
others.
process was changing.
Yeah,
all the time.
among others. In the ex-USSR countries, yes, change was a daily occurrence because it's probably very typical of the Russian mentality. We first destroyed everything we had. The economy, the military, everything was torn down.
Very tragic part of human history. In fact.
Exactly, exactly.
Whenever I think of that, 90s to 2000, my God, that's
Late 80s, early 90s, horrible time for
horrible
Russia
time.
and
That's
the
not
other.
the way to change.
No,
would have changed
no,
gradually.
no, absolutely.
Uh,
But that's the way
It happened.
the powers that be chose to do it at that particular point in time. So what happened was that the economy was destroyed, the military was destroyed, the education system was destroyed, the health service was destroyed,
Society was
social
destroyed.
safety network was no longer there, and then they started building things from scratch. And because things were built from scratch, a lot of things had to be invented. And
that's the
it was
positive
trial
part
and
of this.
error, trial and error method that was applied at that time. So a piece of legislation would be introduced to regulate banking, for example. Then a couple of months later, they would start making changes to that legislation. And change was a daily occurrence. This change made at the level of national law would then be multiplied by a huge factor through various sorts of circulars, regulations issued by the central bank and other regulatory bodies, and banks had to survive in that environment. The economic environment kept changing at a similar pace as things got privatized, rules of play changed, everything kept changing. So banks and other financial institutions in those type of circumstances needed systems that could be easily adapted to the change by the business users themselves. And that is exactly the kind of system that this newly established company set out to develop. The finance came from the UK side.
Okay.
Banking technology came from the UK side because a consulting firm in the City of London was hired to define the business requirements. But all the IT skills came from the Russian and the rest of ex-USSR side because those type of skills came out of the defense industries.
I see.
Doing nothing, they were available for very reasonable money,
very
high
reasonable,
level. So quite a few of those people emigrated at the time, but those who stayed were looking for jobs. And company founders leveraged that quite successfully. So that's basically the kind of company we are.
That's how you were able to produce not only a very high quality, latest sort of technology, but also competitive one. Because
Exactly.
Western software packages are available everywhere.
Yes.
So you have to compete with that as well.
Yes, we are competing.
So price-wise also you're competitive.
Let's put it this way. Price was certainly competitive. And when talking about, let's say, global competition potentially so far with India, you mentioned price. Price is a big consideration, and
Yes.
that is something that, again, you can leverage. I read maybe a month and a half ago in the business press that a lot of big names were leaving India. and looking for other homes because India is becoming too expensive.
Oh.
It's almost costs more to rent office space in Mumbai than it does in New York. So what's the point?
Karachi is much cheaper.
Exactly, exactly. So that is certainly another thing you can leverage. But our advantage is, of course, price, because our cost base is much, much lower. For example, in one area where we are competing quite vigorously, and that's post office software, we have probably our biggest competitor that is based in Ireland.
I see.
And their cost base is by a large factor bigger than ours. So what they're offering is probably a fraction of what we offer, yet they offer it at a higher price.
Mr. Mateen, that gives us a very good advantage here. With this kind of technological brain, of course, we cannot say anything about Russian brain. These are people who put human outside in space in the first instance. And we can say far behind. So their scientific skills are cannot be challenged. And with their cheaper, because of the economy went down and everything, they're available quite reasonably. And if we can bring people like you together, I think we can create a very good winning team.
That's exactly what we are doing.
Exactly.
For the region, not only for Pakistan, all the region basically.
Comparatively in Pakistan, the infrastructure is still cheaper, you think? As he mentioned about Bombay.
Yes.
Certainly.
But is not Bangalore the major place for...
Bangalore is, and it's
but
as
that's
expensive.
also become
It's
very expensive.
Yeah.
I see. But comparatively, I think Pakistan is much cheaper, affordable.
It is.
Yes,
And in terms of salaries and everything also, I think we are better.
Yes,
So what you two people are doing together? I know Mr. Igor has chosen you as his partner here. So how much success we have? Have you sold his software to banks and other institutions so far?
Because at the moment we are working on localization of the software. The first thing, let me add, is which inspired us to partner with them, is their technology and the level of software. It's very extensive, very meticulous, and it's based on great level of certification. So the only thing they needed was localization in this region. We are partnering where we do maybe doing projects in the Middle East, in North Africa and Asia with them, and we have signed up to provide all support, help desk, outsourcing services for their solution in the region from Pakistan. And this has actually will create a lot of jobs here. It will create a lot of synergies. Once we have that, then the first thing we are doing is a localization of their solutions. One of them, it is developing Islamic banking solution.
I see,
Okay.
You know about Islamic banking products?
By now, I know quite a bit. I'm not an expert.
The market demands that. So yeah,
Exactly,
whether you go to Middle
exactly.
East or Pakistan,
Yes.
even in Malaysia and other places.
If I may add something to what Mr. Mateen has just said, localizing the software is one thing we need to do before addressing actually the local market in terms of selling. But there is another very important aspect. We want this country to become our hub. First for Pakistan,
very welcome news for us.
then for the Middle East and other English-speaking regions primarily. And in order to achieve that, we need to build a lot of local capacity. That's what we are doing. We've already done one round of training. We are planning a lot more. It will be more intensive, more extensive. Bigger numbers of people will be involved from our two local partners, EDP Services and THK. EDP as regional partner and THK as channel partner for Pakistan in particular. And once we have built that capacity, we expect the local team, with little or no assistance from our side, from the central R&D, etc. function, to be capable of doing all the implementations on site and then providing all the on-site and second line, as they describe, support as may be needed. Providing help desk services in Urdu where required, maybe in other local languages.
In Arabic also. Localization.
So when you talk about the hub as a local area hub, what is the definition of this area? Pakistan, Middle East, Africa, or?
Let us say the definition is quite loose at this stage.
Okay,
We tend, among other things, to rely on our partners here as the source of English language skills.
Okay, that's
every country that
that's
speaks
another advantage
English,
you have, isn't it?
Yes,
exactly.
Thanks to the British rule, we are very good in English actually.
Every country that speaks English is a potential market, including UK, the home of the language. Because once we have
The company started there, you go back there.
exactly, once we have the Islamic banking version of our system, that we intend to try and sell in the UK as well and other parts of Europe.
Because UK is a very major
big market
banking
Islamic.
center.
That's
Exactly.
the advantage because being based in UK, the biggest financial capital of the world, they have access to knowledge. They have to function consultant, the domain related to banking. That adds a lot of value, and having somebody from this region will really add good to the mix.
And of course, we expect to sell the Islamic banking of the version of the system in the ex-USSR as well, because there are a number of Islamic countries there, and
Yes.
in Russia itself, there are a number of regions which are Islamic,
They
and
need
are
that.
now beginning to look for Islamic banking paradigm.
In Dubai, have you already established an office
We are
in
in the
Dubai?
process of
You're-
establishing.
We are in the process of
Yes.
establishing
So
an office.
initially, it will be all the technical people will be sitting in Dubai, Pakistan.
Yes,
Not
second-
initially.
Not
That will stay that way.
Yes.
Dubai will be just sales and marketing.
just sales and marketing.
Marketing, yes.
From there, you can look after the whole of Middle East and
Yes,
Africa.
definitely,
Actually,
definitely,
right? Africa is a very big market, actually.
It is.
People normally do not.
These days
know.
it is a bit trouble.
Yeah, and it is developing quite
For
fast.
the northern part, there is a southern part as well. right?
Yeah, and they're developing fast.
Developing fast.
In bank, I had an opportunity to be looking at Middle East and Africa, and I
Yes.
extensively traveled in Africa. Countries like South Africa, Kenya,
It's a
I was
big
involved there.
market, yeah.
These are very big markets actually, and
Yes, definitely.
they need, and again, because of their underdevelopment, they cannot afford very expensive products.
Yes, definitely.
So they need something, which is like product like yours. So that's where you can look at.
Definitely.
How much people you hope to employ by being partnering with Colver?
Okay, that's something which is very hard to say right now. Because just to give you an example, once we decided to launch a product in Pakistan, and we needed a partner who has experience to implement, sizable number of branches in a bank. For typically, we went for THK Solutions. THK Solutions has a very good record of implementing a solution for, like, say, 500, 600 branches. So for one bank, you need 200 at least resources, consultants,
200 people required to service one bank?
one bank or in the region, in one region you can say. And that includes the techies, that includes the functional consultants, that includes the support staff, the help desk, the other areas also. Because, mind you, all the first level, second level will be done here, but the third level core kernel, the main technology will still come from the Russian side.
We have to take a break here.
Okay.
नाज़रीन हम लेंगे यहाँ पे एक छोटा सा ब्रेक के बाद फिर हाजिर होते हैं.